Hello and welcome to Stuck in the Elevator Pitch. We're the two dudes and we like to talk, so the only way we can elevator pitch is when we get stuck in it. Join us in the hot, sweaty metal box of this podcast as we pitch to you our new Muppets movie. Here we are again.
For God's
The lift
sake.
doors have closed us in.
Yep.
And we have brought our podcasting equipment prepared this time, aware
Yes.
of the dangers of lifting. We could take the stairs, but we don't. Because we're committed.
I mean, we're lazy. That's really kind of what it is.
Yeah, okay, you didn't have to out us like that, but fine. Okay. So this week, we have returned to a realm. We haven't returned, we've never done this before. We are in a realm unbeknownst to us, the realm of Muppet movies.
Yes, we now look into the mirror, and just like Jim Parsons, we see a Muppet versions of ourselves.
Yes. Am I a man or am I a Muppet?
That's a great song. Can we
It's
just
a
appreciate
phenomenal
that
song. Yeah.
Like, to us, that movie in general, like the first song as well, like Life's a Happy Song, so good.
I very much enjoy the Muppets movies.
Yeah.
But we are not writing our own original Muppets movie. We are taking the vein of Muppets Treasure Island and Muppets Christmas Carol and using the wealth of the Disney library to bring forth a new Muppet movie, to the one to destroy them all.
Oh, are you doing Lord of the Rings?
The most Disney-fied Muppet movie in the world.
Here's the question, exactly. How have Disney acquired the rights to the Muppets and not done this?
Well, the question is how they acquire the rights for Muppets. How they acquire the rights to half of popular culture. You've got Star Wars, you've got Marvel, you've got Pixar, and they haven't made a single Muppet movie. I honestly find that kind of insulting. You're insulting me, Disney. You're insulting that I would want things of a higher quality than a Muppet version of a movie. You've looked and you've considered me in too high regard, and I'm upset about it. So here we are, lowering our own self-regard and showing what content we really want to see.
Yes.
Muppet movies of real movies.
Yeah, of the movies we could literally just go and watch, but we're not going to because we want to see Kermit doing them instead.
So, do you want to go first? Take it away?
Sure, yeah. Well, here I was sat there and I'm going, okay, if I want to put Kermit, because that's what we want to see, it's, okay, who's Kermit going to play? If I want to put Kermit in a movie, what do I want to see him as? Obviously, everyone knows I'm a massive Star Wars buff, but my first instinct was like, yeah, Kermit Luke Skywalker. But it's too predictable. It's too easy. So I went, who do I want Kermit to act alongside? Because this is the thing about these Muppet movies. You go, right, you got some of them are obviously the Muppets, and some of them are actual people.
Michael Caine giving the most serious performance of his entire career, surrounded by puppets.
Exactly. But I thought to myself, okay, what defining moment for an actor do I want to recreate? And who would work best alongside Muppets? And I thought one thing, and one thing only. Captain Jack Sparrow.
Okay.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to witness Johnny Depp as Captain Jack interacting with a load of Muppets. Now, okay, obviously the Pirates of the Caribbean saga is a lot. So I thought to myself, okay, do I want to just limit it to one movie? And I went, no. Some of the characters that are in the second and third movies around Davy Jones need to be in this. Because for me, that entire trilogy, and I do consider it as a trilogy because all the ones that came after it are pointless.
On Stranger Tides is great.
Yeah, it's alright, but then... Anyway, those three are the pinnacle of what the Pirates of the Caribbean is to me. So, this movie would consist of the cast of Jack Sparrow, which is obviously Johnny Depp. Will Turner is played by Kermit. Elizabeth Swann is Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
Commodore Norrington is still Jack Davenport, because I just think him talking to Miss Piggy, wanting her, is absolutely hilarious. Barbossa is Animal. Jack the Monkey is, of course, Beaker. Davy Jones is Bill Nighy. And then you have
it's a serious question. Is this Bill Nye as like he's dressed as Squid, or is this just Bill Nye stood as Bill Nye?
This is Bill Nye acting as Davy Jones, but not in the way he did before with like actual prosthetics. It has to be all practical, guys.
It's just basically Bill Nye.
Yeah,
okay, cool. I'm down.
Now, of course, you have two supporting characters as well, and the rest of them are kind of scattered around. But the ones that I want to kind of mention are Gibbs, which is the first mate for Captain Jack, is Gonzo, because why not? And then the best one, which when writing it, genuinely made me chuckle. The Kraken.
Yeah.
Played by the Cookie Monster. Now, I know what you're going to say. That's Sesame Street.
Yeah, it is. You've ruined it. You've broke the universe.
But I don't care.
You know, it wasn't the response I expected, but it's what I've got. Fair enough.
I don't care. The Kraken has to be a mythical being, and it has to be the Cookie Monster. It only has one appearance, and it's the only appearance I allowed myself to go, okay, if I'm going to break this a little bit, this is the one where I was going to do it. I was thinking about making Bootstrap Bill Yoda, but I thought, no, won't do it. But of course, like any great Muppets retelling, we need a narrator. Someone with a voice like silk, who is going to talk over this amazing, epic movie. And I thought, who's better to do it than Morgan Freeman? So that's our main cast. And now I'm going to take you through the story. So
okay.
The start is pretty much the same. You have Kermit, who's making swords.
Sorry, pretty much the same. Yeah, they're all puppets. Yeah, carry on.
You have Kermit, who's making swords for, Commodore Norrington. Jack Davenport.
Muppet-sized swords or big swords?
No. Regular-sized swords. And obviously you have the comedic effect of, he's slaving away in this montage of creating this sword. Almost a bit, Lord of the Rings-esque to harken back to, obviously, the person who originally played him, Orlando Bloom. And then he picks up the sword and just falls over. Anyway, he brings the sword to Commodore Norrington, who is using it to obviously impress Miss Piggy. Jack Davenport, obviously, playing completely serious, exactly the same character, which would just be absolutely hilarious. And then Will Turner meets Jack Sparrow. You have Johnny Depp turning up. And you have a sword fight in the barn between Jack and Will. Kermit and Johnny Depp facing off. So the start's all the same. And then obviously Jack's whole thing is trying to get back the Black Pearl. They get back onto the Black Pearl, where you meet Animal. Obviously, in this one, all three characters get there at the same time. It's not a case of you have the, parlay moment with Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
And then you meet Barbossa, who is Animal. And the thing I like best about this is the fact that you have an intelligible monkey who you can't understand as Beaker. And you have Animal, who is as well, completely and utterly, you can't understand him.
Animal.
And so you have Johnny Depp trying to parlay with and negotiate with Animal, who is just like completely getting nowhere with. Anyway, the next big moment that we see in the films, I think, is where he gets stranded on an island. And this is where you get, why's all the rum gone? So, of course, you have Miss Piggy and Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow stranded on an island. And, of course, this is where the whole... all the questions ended up getting asked in the later films as to whether they had an affair. Well, I'm going to answer that question because I'm going to nick your saying here, James. This is not your grandpappy's Muppets.
This is my saying. I've definitely stolen it, but I don't remember where from, so sorry.
This is not your grandpappy's Muppets. There is alcohol. So, of course, there is still why is all the rum gone. There is swords.
No.
And just like in most Muppets movies, actually, there's a bit of romantic content.
Ooh.
I'm going to answer all the questions of whether there was an affair, whether the fact that Elizabeth Swann, obviously played by Keira Knightley, was just manipulating Jack in order to burn all the rum. Miss Piggy, in classic Miss Piggy fashion, throws herself at Johnny Depp.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Anyway, they end up as in the actual version. They end up getting back onto the Black Pearl, and just like I've just done there, of course, the narrator Morgan Freeman, who is kind of talking us through this whole thing, very much yada yadas over the rest of what happened, of how to get to the Black Pearl.
Is Morgan Freeman narration going to be written for him, or are we just going to play him the clips?
Yeah.
And he's just going to talk, and
basically,
it tells us the story. Okay, excellent.
Have you ever seen Drunk History?
Yes.
On Comedy Central. That kind of thing where Morgan Freeman knows the rough story, and he's just kind of allowed to go, I have no idea what's going on here. And it's actually Morgan Freeman. We see at the end, I am going to spoil it a little bit, we see at the end that Johnny Depp's Captain Jack has written, obviously, the story and given it to Morgan Freeman, and is now holding Morgan Freeman at gunpoint to narrate this story.
I just wanna. You were going one particular way with this, and I went as soon as you said I'm gonna spoil this a little. We see Morgan Freeman. My first and only instinct was that Jack Sparrow is dead and Morgan Freeman is God. And this is Morgan Freeman is God.
Well, that's an idea.
Because Morgan Freeman is God.
Muppets Bruce Almighty. Should have done that.
It's not Disney. It's out.
Anywho, Morgan Freeman, yada yada, on how they get back onto the Black Pearl. And this is where the story... I'm saying that. This is where the story deviates. Obviously, it has before. No, this is where it deviates big time. So instead of going to the cage and getting to the cave and getting the treasure and, releasing the curse, we see another ship arrive.
Do we now?
But it arrives from under the depths of the water. And all of a sudden, the boat gets rocked. Something is coming. And out of the water arises this big, monstrous blue hand that grabs hold of the boat and lifts it up. And all of a sudden, from the point of view from those on the ship, you see the Cookie Monster.
Can I add an idea here? An idea? Before the hand comes out, just a load of giant cookies just float to the surface.
And it looks like a giant bowl of Cookie Crisp.
Carry on.
Anyway, and then all you see is this giant ship. Of course, the ships are brown. The Cookie Monster, he's helpless. He can't tell the difference. He just shouts in his big, monstrous voice, "Cookies!"
I want to make a point, but you said he can't tell the difference, and I think you've missed a huge opportunity to make the ship out of cookie.
Maybe it is. Maybe we don't know. That's a great idea.
The whole ship is just a giant cookie. Anyway, continue.
And anyway, he swallows the Black Pearl.
Oh my gosh.
At which point we then see Jack Sparrow in Davy Jones's locker.
As a reminder, Johnny Depp, the human.
No, Jack Sparrow, sorry.
Yeah, but Jack Sparrow is Johnny Depp, the human.
Oh, yes. Yes,
yeah,
sorry,
no,
yes.
He's still
and it's practically, you know what, you could even, I'm going to give you a bit of a hint here, Disney, you can save a bit of money here. It's practically the same scene. You may as well just, recycle the footage of where Jack Sparrow manages to get the Black Pearl back to the shore because of a load of crabs. But instead of a load of crabs, he's swallowed by the Cookie Monster. Guess what they are?
Cookies.
Little cookies.
Little cookies.
Cookie crabs. If you will.
Are they crabs that are made of cookie, or are they...
exactly.
Would you rather fight a crab-sized cookie or a cookie-sized crab?
I'd rather fight a Godzilla-sized Dalek, but sure.
Okay, stop bringing that up. It's beautiful, and I've actually been in talks with Legendary and the BBC, so I need you to back the hell up.
That was my idea. That's not fair.
Yeah, well, you didn't send me emails. You didn't get the people on board.
Right.
Me and Chibnall, we got a hotline. Anyway, carry on.
He gets back to the ship. He gets back to the shore, should I say, where he suddenly sees a load of people. And he's like, hang on, why was I with the ship and the rest of you weren't? And Morgan Freeman narrates over the top saying, there was no answer to this. We just wanted to see the crabs again. So all of a sudden, we get we get the sequence where they're going outside of the they're trying to get out of Davy Jones's locker. But before that, the thing I'd like to put out is Jack Sparrow. He's a bit nuts. And obviously in the original versions of it, we have it so that he gets given the jar of dirt in order to stave off the Kraken. He does this again, but he does it himself. Right? And he doesn't do it this time to hide Davy Jones's heart. No. He does it just because he went a bit nuts, I'll be honest with you. But this is where we get another reference to a different property. Because I need to include this joke. It needs to be in there. Because I was thinking it all the time. So when Jack Sparrow is running around going, I've got a jar of dirt, I've got a jar of dirt, we get a bit of a Crocodile Dundee reference. Where so Commodore Norrington turns around and goes, that's not a jar of dirt. This is a jar of dirt. And then we go, this is also a jar of dirt, which is also a Family Guy reference. I need it in there. I'm sorry. It's stupid. It doesn't work. I need it. I'm sorry.
You can have it.
So...
Happy birthday.
Of course, they get out of the battle. And of course, this is one big movie. So really, we have a lot of yada-yada-ing from Freeman. Okay?
Yes, of course.
Because, let's face it, we don't care, right? We're in this because we want to see the action. Okay?
Yes.
We're not watching a Muppet movie like Christmas Carol where we want to see the psychology of, these people. We're watching this because we want to see Kermit.
Sorry, you think Muppets Christmas Carol is about the psychology of Muppets?
No, I'm making a joke. God damn it. We want to see this movie because we want to see Kermit fight it off.
Sorry, no. I'm still stuck on this. It's a deep psychological analysis of why Michael Caine thinks it's normal to be surrounded by puppets.
Yes.
And just doesn't at any point question it.
I mean...
All exactly. The puppets his slaves? Is that the point?
Whereas these people are a bit mental.
Anyway, yeah. So the action.
So we want to see the action. We want to see the final battle, the final face-off between Kermit the Frog and 3 human beings. So you have Commodore Norrington, you have Bill Nighy's Davy Jones, and you have Captain Jack Sparrow, played by Johnny Depp. And Kermit is the one who's fighting all of them.
He's a little frog.
They're the only 3 humans in this entire thing, and they are fighting a frog.
Why not?
Not only are they fighting a frog, they get bested by a frog. Kermit, pardon the pun, leaps into action and manages to defeat all of them with his flailing arms going, "Roar!" And he defeats them, right? Kermit saves the day. He becomes, just as Will Turner does, he becomes the captain of the Flying Dutchman. And he has to say goodbye to his beloved Miss Piggy, who is heartbroken.
Yeah, I would be. I mean, she would be.
Until she sees Jack again. And almost as if she completely forgets about Kermit. As the Flying Dutchman plunges into the sea, she leaps for one final time at Johnny Depp's Captain Jack Sparrow.
It's disgusting.
And the story ends just like that.
That is just about as epic as one can ask for.
The whole point in this was not for it to be anything that made sense. It's a Muppets version of a movie. I wanted this to be exactly what everyone wants. Okay, I'm doing Rise of Skywalker, but better, right? I'm giving the fans what they want. I'm giving them what they've all asked for, which is just pure, ridiculous Muppet action alongside the likes of Johnny Depp and Bill Nighy. All right?
I quite enjoy that we're still pretending anyone wants these to exist, but we definitely do, and we need to campaign at Disney to make these movies.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know what you're going to do. So compared to mine, yours might be the best thing ever.
I think your idea for Pirates of the Caribbean is pretty excellent. But the one only thing I would even consider changing would be, I think you missed a trick to make it literally just Johnny Depp and everyone else is a puppet. And the retelling of him holding a gun at Morgan Freeman is actually Jack Sparrow. That's his version of events.
That's such a great idea.
But he just considers everyone else to be a puppet because,
can I change my idea? Can I change it to that?
No, I like your idea. I like having Kermit fight 3 whole people, but he's a frog. Oh, there's just something so funny and so dumb about just Muppets doing stuff. So when I went about coming up with an idea, coming up with a concept, if you will, I was like, okay, I was exactly where you were. I was like, Disney, what rights do we have? Marvel, okay. Marvel Avengers. Perfect.
Yeah.
This is perfect, ripe for Disney. And I just want to put a little teaser just in the middle of this of how you do that. Okay. You have 3 humans, which are Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury, Tom Hiddleston's Loki, and Hawkeye, played by Jeremy Renner. And then everyone else is a Muppet. And some humans mixed in.
Why Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye?
Because I think it's really funny to make Jeremy Renner the only human, because it shows his worth as he is equal to several Muppets. He's actually, and the hilarious joke that just repeats throughout the movie is just him like opening doors because they can't reach. That's his worth to the. That's why he's on the Avengers, because he's just big enough to do things. But basically, it was all just a thing of making fun of Hawkeye, who I love. Hawkeye is amazing. But that's why I didn't get very far with that, because I was just like, every bit here is just a dumb thing for Hawkeye to do. So I kind of left that one behind.
That's brilliant.
And
I
absolutely
adore
Disney
it.
has a pantheon. Disney has an absolute pantheon of movies and content and IPs that are famous and world-renowned. And I was like, what's their biggest IP is Disney princesses. And I did run into some problem here, because I was like, well, annoyingly, there's only actually one significant female Muppet, and most of the Disney princess movies would need Miss Piggy to be the Disney princess, and I don't think she fits that any of those characters particularly well. I may return to one of these later. I will, because I went through a list and I got here and I was like, I've done it. I found it. I've peaked. And the only idea I thought that would actually be
peaked
funny...
on Muppets, that's worrying.
Wait. The only princess movies that I thought would be perfect. And I can't believe... I genuinely can't believe no one has done even like a short of this, like a comedy bit. The Princess and the Frog.
Oh, for God.
And a human character turns into a frog puppet, and that's the bit, and Kermit's the prince. Anyway, whatever. Moving on from that, I didn't get anywhere with that, and I thought, there is only one IP, there is only one franchise that holds the weight, holds the severity to be at one with Muppets. Yeah, Pirate, it's big. Avengers, it's big, but it isn't as big as this. It isn't as a juggernaut, as huge as...
Before you reveal it,
Okay.
I have an idea, and I played it in my mind, and I really hope you're going for your usual trick here. So if it's not this, I want to tell you what this is and see what you say.
Tell me about this first.
No, because if it is this...
No, just tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. It's not going to be. I'll be shocked.
So Disney owns the rights to the Need for Speed franchise.
No, it's not that. I'm not quite...
I think it'd be hilarious to have a Need for Speed movie with the Muppets.
To try and revive a dead, non-existent franchise with Muppets. So you're basically making a Muppets driving movie, which sounds pretty good to me.
Muppets
but with
Fast
a
and Furious.
franchise of irrelevance. Okay, so it's not that. It is actually a pantheon. It is the biggest franchise that is undeniably owned by Disney. It's very denied it's not the biggest franchise they own. But it is, in fact, the juggernaut that is 3 words. High School Musical.
Oh no!
The only movie that I could find solid groundwork to fit the Muppets in like a glove.
Oh my...
Now, I would like to give those a bit of background on the High School Musical franchise.
If you really need
It
to.
has been diluted and convoluted, and this is basically the only next natural evolution. There was the High School Musical trilogy. There was High School Musical, the musical, a stage musical based on High School Musical. Then there was High School Musical, the series, a series based on the musical of the movie of High School Musical. If you caught up with that, I'm impressed. And here is, as I can say, the only natural evolution. The only way to take High School Musical is add Muppets. Now, there was talk of rebooting the franchise, trying to recreate it and recast people, and I'm like, no. Recast Muppets? Because why would you not do that? So, anyway, I started to prepare. I haven't seen High School Musical in many a moon, and I thought, well, I need to watch this. And I cannot believe when I pressed play on this movie how appropriate the opening is compared to a Muppets movie. Just the shot of the ski lodge from far away and the like time and date just feels like a Muppet movie opening. I'm just saying. So we'll have a beautiful pan shot, zoom shot, like drone shot coming in on the ski lodge. And as we enter the ski lodge, we see our two main characters.
Dear Lord.
We see Troy, played by the one, the only, the Kermit the Frog.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Zac Efron, alright.
No. That would be ridiculous. Zac Efron is way too old to be Troy. And Gabriella, who I wasn't sure who to cast as, and we can cast anyone, an unknown, whatever, but the template, the idea, Olivia Rodrigo, who is the Vanessa Hudgens role in High School Musical, the musical, the series. Right. She's basically the one who plays Vanessa in the musical.
So hang on, just ever so quickly.
She plays Gabriella, yeah.
Can I ask whether this movie is what they were all actually auditioning for in High School Musical, the series?
No, you're ruining it.
Has she got that role because of the...
The meta is only in reverse. Oh. So it only works if you reference the... So she played Gabriella. She's just Gabriella. There's no meta-ness. They're all just playing a role. It doesn't have to be her. It could be anyone. It's just an unknown. It's just an unknown person. Right. No famous people, just someone to play Gabriella. Anyway, and... A bit, we already have the Muppets in. We see her at the ski lodge, the New Year's party, and before they're pulled up on stage to sing that fateful duet that would bind two souls more fatefully than Romeo and Juliet, we see Fozzie doing some rubbish stand-up, because of course we do, because it's a New Year's Eve party and it's rubbish, and neither Kermit nor Gabriella particularly want to be there. But we don't see specifically...
I just had a thought about something. Carry on.
Troy's dad, and there is a reason for this.
No.
We have New Year's, we have this beautiful, beautiful budding romance between Kermit and Gabriella, and it's just beautiful. Kermit and Gabriella, Troy and Gabriella, played by Kermit the Frog, and it's just beautiful, and we're just very happy, and it basically plays pretty much exactly the same. They sing their little song, Kermit's got some more dance moves going on. He's flipping, he's flying.
Of something new.
Exactly, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. There are tears streaming down every millennial's face.
Yeah, I'm crying.
And then we return to... Oh, and a very important thing about this universe is it's very much like Treasure Island and stuff like that. So there's Muppets and people just mixed in.
Yeah.
Just mixed in. So we end up at high school and we see... Troy arriving with his friends. So let's introduce the Wildcats.
Dear Lord.
So the Wildcats are made up of an all-Muppet crew.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Chad, who is Fozzie. He was also at the New Year's party, but whatever. It's fine, don't worry about it. Zeke, played by Walter, the new from the Disney Muppets movie. And then the other Wildcats would be Rizzo, the rat, Sweetums, who's the giant one, and also just rats, just the general rats.
So hang on, who's playing Corbin Blue?
Corbin Blue is Chad, that is Fozzie.
Right, okay.
Don't worry about it. So there is also a bit of creative license taken with who says what and who does what. Chad is Fozzie, who is the best friend to Kermit and Troy, so that's why it's Fozzie. The bit where Chad becomes a bit of a meanie later, we're just going to swap out for someone else, basically, because Fozzie's not that type of character. And Walter is obviously just genuinely, as Zeke, excited to be there and be taking part in everything. And I think that characteristic of Walter is needed. Now, as we move through the school, as we learn and see more about it, we see... Gabriella introduced coming into the school. We see her with her mum, and we also see her with their principal, Sam Eagle. Who else would it be? And we see a couple more characters as we head into the classroom now. We see the one and only Sharpay, played by the one and only Miss Piggy.
Obviously.
And Ryan, played by the only person who could stand next to the showmanship of Miss Piggy, Gonzo.
Yes, okay.
we have in the classroom, we meet characters Ms. Darbus, who is the drama teacher putting on the High School Musical in the aforementioned title. She will be played by Ashley Tisdale, returning to the High School Musical franchise. But Mrs. Darbus's character will actually be split with another 2 characters who will all sort of take all her characteristics, if you will.
Yeah.
And that is Statler and Waldorf. For those of you who don't know who they are, that's the grumpy 2 Muppets. And they have been forced by Sam Eagle to take part in something extracurricular. And their plan is to join the the school show, the drama show, and basically be so mean to everyone, no one auditions and no one signs up.
Yep.
And thus they don't have to do anything, because they tried. And then you've got Ashley Tisdale being the eccentric drama teacher. Also a bit mean, but Statler and Waldorf will take a lot of that weight onto their shoulders, happily, I'm sure. Other characters in the classroom, we have Taylor, who's played by Dara Renee, who is literally just the Gabriella's best friend in High School Musical series, Olivia Rodrigo's best friend in High School Musical series. She's incredibly talented, so she can come in here absolutely fine.
James, you almost sound like someone who genuinely loves High School Musical, the musical series.
It's a phenomenal show. Watch it, and no doubt we will be talking about this later.
This really worries me, but sure.
So we also have these characters all end up in detention. So they all end up in detention, and there is one person not happy about this. One person furious with this, enraged by this. And that is the coach of a basketball team, because where are his team? Where are they when they're supposed to be rehearsing? And as we see storming into the theatre, his fateful return, Zac Efron, as the coach, returns. And he's now the coach of the team, but he's not Troy. It's just Zac Efron playing part of the coach. Anyway, he gets Troy, who's Kermit. He gets Chad, who's Fozzie. Gets him out of there. He storms into the principal's office, who is a Muppet. Again, the Muppet is then being shouted at by 2 actual humans, with Statler and Waldorf in the corner basically saying, I think we should just cancel both things. They just are on no one's side in all this. Sam Eagle, as every time it cuts back to him, he's going to be wearing slightly more basketball memorabilia. So like he'll just be sat there, and then it'll cut back and have a jersey on him and a hat, and then he'll be holding a basketball. Because watching it, the coach, the principal, really likes basketball. Like, his office is full of it, so I think it'd be funny every time it cuts back. Anyway, there's lots of songs. The next song I want to touch on, and one of the things I'd like to do with the music in this musical, this is the first, I believe, like full Muppets musical. Not that they have music in, but like an actual musical driven.
Yeah.
And I would like to maybe remix a couple of the Muppets' famous songs into some of the other songs here. Right. So I'd love the Muppets show starting. It's time to start the music, light the lights. That can be fitted in somewhere. Anyway, we touch on what's it called? What's the song? I can't remember what it's called. The basketball one. Get your head in the game.
Get your head in the game, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the one with the Wildcats. And what we see about the Wildcats is they're led by Kermit, Troy. They also feature Fozzie, Walter, Rizzo, the Rats, Sweetums. Sweetums is basically the only reason they're winning. And Kermit,
I was going to say, so hang on. These tiny Muppets are playing basketball. Are they playing basketball against real people?
Yeah, they're playing against a whole human team. Who maybe has a couple of Muppets mixed in. But the idea is they're an entire Muppet team. And you'll see why this is important later. Important things about the team is they are called the Wildcats and obviously have a Wildcat mascot. Unfortunate thing about Rats is they really hate the concept of Wildcats, and at every mention of their team name, they run in fear. So every time they say, let's go Wildcats, they're just like, where? Oh my gosh. And every time a mascot appears in the thing, they just stay on the other side of the court to the mascot, because they don't want to be anywhere near the Wildcat in case they're eaten.
Who's playing the Wildcat?
Mascot? No, it's just it's just the actual mascot. It's just a person in a mascot suit.
Because there's a person you've not used yet, and I'm waiting to see if he's going to appear. But carry on.
I'm not sure who you mean. Who do you mean? Go on.
Animal.
Oh, don't worry about Animal. Animal has a little bit later.
Okay.
So then so something that's very important. Something very important to the show is the idea that everyone in this school has their role to play.
Yeah.
Basketball people play basketball. The science people do science. The musicians do music. The skateboarders skateboard. But there's actually a layer of racial prejudice in this school, which involves.
You're bringing racism into Muppets?
Which is basically there's a lot of prejudice between Muppets and people, and that Muppets are only allowed to do some things and people are only allowed to do some things. So the Muppets play basketball at this school, and all Gabriella's science friends are all humans.
Oh, wow.
And there are some sections of the school that are somewhat mixed, but the majority is you're either Muppet or you're human, and we keep them separate. And a lot of the stick to the status quo is about Muppets can't be with humans. So referring to Animal would be one of the people who gets a line a bit about what he wants to do in this, but obviously it's just Animal saying Animal.
Yeah.
And then we see again other stuff. We see Walter. He can bake because I bet Walter does love to make a souffle. God, I'm tearing up just thinking about Walter making his perfect souffle. And there is one important aspect of this movie that we haven't touched on: the romance, the pure passion between Troy and Gabriella, resulting in their relationship trying to be scuppered at every turn by Sharpay. Now, what's important here is that it is very weird of a Muppet-human relationship, and that's just gross, because Gabriella and Troy are never interested in each other. They're just really good friends.
Yeah.
But every single other character in the movie thinks they're in love and want to be together, and they're like, it's just wrong, dude. It's just wrong. It's not okay. But Sharpay, Miss Piggy, of course, very, very jealous of Gabriella at every turn, only for the end of the movie to realise that Kermit was completely in love with her, and they can live happily together, and Gabriella's real happy about it. She has no interest in froggy Kermit at all, and he has no interest in human Gabriella. So I really want to make it clear that there is no romantic tension. There's romantic tension because we think it, but there's no romantic interest between Troy and Gabriella. They're just friends. Kermit is just, again, as he always seems to be, caught in a misunderstanding. He wants everyone to get along. He wants to play basketball. He wants to do theatre. He can do whatever he wants because he's a little frog. He's the little frog that could. And pretty much what's important about the plot is it plays out basically exactly the same. And if you change anything, you've screwed it up. And you just play every scene out, but you just make little changes and bits with like Muppets questioning things. So there's one particular shot which I just imagined in my head as hilarious, is when the coach, which would be Zac Efron, is walking along the line of players and like saying something to them. And I like the idea that you see him walking along, but you can't see anything. You don't see who he's talking to. And then you see really big Sweetums really high. You can't see his head. And then you see like Kermit like just barely in frame at the bottom. Because the half the team you couldn't see are just the rats who are just on the floor because they're tiny. Other mentions are you have the cheerleaders who are of course just rats in skirts. Basically, there's just rats around the place.
Yeah, it's a terrible school.
Doing the things that they love to do. There's a particular moment I like where there's people painting the set and you've got Miss Piggy trotting her way up onto it while they're painting it and just leaving like Miss Piggy prints, little footprints of Miss Piggy just everywhere, and they're just like, God darn it. Gonzo you have being Ryan, the Ryan to the Sharpay. Obviously Miss Piggy trying to be centre stage, but Ryan here is actually the star of the show. Everyone loves Ryan because he keeps messing up. He's actually terrible, but he keeps like doing badly, but somehow succeeding. So like one bit, he falls off the ladder that they're performing on, but does like a backflip and like lands it, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, and Miss Piggy's been just trying to take the attention back onto her. So there's a lot of tension with Ryan. And
That's
Miss
very
Piggy.
Similar to their arc in the second one.
Yeah. But Miss Piggy wants the spotlight on her, but Ryan is actually Gonzo is the star of this show. And obviously at some point we've got to put Gonzo in a cannon and launch him for some reason.
So that's how Kermit beats Davy Jones in mine. Is he gets Gibbs into a cannon and fires him at him.
There you go. So I think that's basically the idea. Is the Muppets take on the most overdone. You think you couldn't get more meta, but then we put Muppets in it. The only idea I have that was more meta than this was doing High School Musical, the series, for Muppet Show. So it's actually, rather than it being the High School Musical movie they're actually doing the High School Musical, the musical series, but then they're putting Muppets into that. But I thought that was too much. I thought, let's just remake High School Musical. We get some return. Oh, I missed a character. So I missed a couple of characters. One of the characters, the science teachers, obviously played by Beaker and Bunsen.
Yep.
Who else? And Kelsey, the piano player.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Kelsey.
Yeah, just get Alessia Rulin back and just don't question it.
Yeah.
Just, isn't she a bit old to be here? Nah, don't worry about it. Just, I like the idea that she's the only human who is the same person, because she's great. And just don't even question it.
So in terms of Troy and his dad.
Troy and his dad, yes, Kermit and
Zac Efron. Is there still that discussion going on about him going to college and being...
Yeah, Zac Efron is just the mean dad.
Okay.
He's like, focus on basketball, but it's Zac Efron.
I've got another question for you then.
Don't worry about it. Yeah,
so, you talk about the difference. So in all the other Muppets movies...
Yes.
There isn't a spoken about difference between Muppets and humans.
It's not spoken about here.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. But you've got the segregation between Muppets doing Muppet things and humans doing human things. So there obviously is a difference.
But it's very important, but it's never actually referenced as to why. So when the friends are all concerned that this Muppet and this human are falling in love, they're just like, she's just not his type. They're just very vague and never saying what it is. But everyone in the audience is like, yeah, it's
just like real racism.
Because he's a Muppet. That's probably why he's not quite her type. But it's just the Muppets never quite make the link. The humans never quite make the point that they're different. One of them's made of felt.
My question to you is, how?
How what?
How is Zac Efron Kermit's father?
It happens all the time in Muppets thing. How is Walter got a human brother and parents?
Yeah.
Walter is somehow a Muppet. It's again, what you've done is you've gone and made the classic schoolboy error of thinking this makes any sense and isn't just a senseless cash grab. What this is a way of making money whilst also giving people the High School Musical reboot that they've called for, they've demanded, while also not rebooting it so the people who don't want to reboot can't complain, while also making a Muppets movie, while also making the High School Musical series more meta than anyone thought ever was possible.
So you're saying
yes.
You have gone and created the perfect movie?
I have gone and created the only movie that should ever be released. This is it. This is the pinnacle. Once we get this, we will win
Cancel
Oscars,
Black
we will
Widow,
win Golden Globes. This will be the first $3 billion movie. This will be the only exclusive to Disney Plus, Netflix, and HBO Max because it's too big for one streaming service.
That's not how exclusivity works.
It is. No, because it will be on every streaming service because it's too big for one. The file size alone, from the sheer willpower of its existence, will overtake this. It's basically just so dumb, it just might work.
That sounds like every Muppets movie ever.
Yeah, I am pretty happy with this idea, and I want to make High School Musical
Muppets
with
movie.
Muppets. Yeah,
okay.
I think.
Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, I just think so many things about High School Musical are just ripe to be Muppeted. I think if you watch that movie, and I implore you, go and watch it. Just imagine Kermit walking down the hallowed halls of East High. Just watch Sharpay, who I started to refer to as Miss Piggy while watching it because it just got so in my head that it was Miss Piggy. I just love the idea of so many humans, but also just their Muppets. There's just some Muppets, and just no one again can question why. No one wonders why. I had one idea that it was just so Gabriella's scared to join a new school because she thinks she's a bit of a freak. My idea was just make everyone in the movie Muppets apart from Gabriella. She's the only human. But again, it's not as funny. It's
very similar to what they've done, what they did in Walter, Jason Segel, and stuff.
I much like the idea that there's a romance that Sharpay is misled into thinking that Troy doesn't love her, but Troy actually just really does fancy Sharpay.
Subverting expectations there, aren't you?
Don't make me play the Subverting Expectations song.
I'm going to make you play the Subverting Expectations song.
Subverting Expectations!
Talking about song. Okay, you've spoken about songs being sort of like interlaced, as in like the crossovers between them. Is there a place for, I'd say, the best Muppet song? I love a lot of them. Rainbow Connection.
Oh, that could be the song that they just put it in the show. Maybe the show just includes Rainbow Connection. It could be the song they sing at the start.
I want like all the other songs can be shorter versions or anything like that, but I just need Rainbow or like amalgamated versions or anything like that. I just need another way of us watching Rainbow Connection.
I would love to see a duet of Troy and Gabriella doing Rainbow Connection. I would love to. In fact, maybe that's the audition song, and we see Sharpay and Ryan take it far too far, and they've remixed it and redubbed it or whatever they've done to it. And it's disgraceful. It's a tragedy to Rainbow Connection. And then we see Kermit and Gabriella step up onto that stage, desperate to audition for this show, and we just see the beautiful vibe of Rainbow Connection just pour from Kermit's beautiful froggy face. And there's only one way that can go, and it's just they get cast, obviously, as happens in the movie, but you couldn't forbid Rainbow Connection. So
here's a question.
I do very much like that idea.
Is that also where Walter and not Walter, what are their names? You said them literally 10 seconds ago. The two...
Which two?
Moody guys.
Oh, Statler and Waldorf.
Statler and Waldorf, that's right. Is that where their plan almost like falls apart? Because
their plan falls apart.
They can't not cast. They can't like not agree that this is beautiful and like.
No, they're never successful in getting people to not audition. That's just their purpose. So as in all the Muppets things where they're mean, no one cares, and everyone just ignores them. Like they're just being mean to all these students, and they're real harsh to the bad auditions we see at the start.
Yeah.
But also I just like that everyone kind of just doesn't really care what they think, and they're just like the old grumps anyway. So they have no real effect or success. And I think secretly, deep down, they do. Just like they secretly love the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
They are really excited to put this performance on, but they just can't admit it until the end, where maybe there's just a beautiful moment, just a beautiful cut to them, and they just say, that wasn't awful. And we just feel their hearts full of joy and forgiveness, and it just feels like Christmas.
So, is this going to kick off the renaissance for Muppets in musical form? Is this going to be like, after this we get a second and third one, or do we go Pitch Perfect next and we get Muppets Pitch Perfect? Or we go...
First of all, I need you to back way the hell up and respect what this is, which is the pinnacle of cinema. You cannot... The Muppets High School Musical, both franchises die after this. This is it. This will be made, and then all those people will never work again. This is their last hurrah. We'll pay them £1 million each so they never have to work again.
Is this like... What all actors fear is that this is always what they'll be known for. They can't ever go into another role because they'll always be just looking and seeing, well, I can't see Kermit the Frog here because that's Troy.
Yeah, on a more real-world level, I have a specific plan to basically always follow Zac Efron into auditions with Muppets, so he's constantly just... But we'll get everyone in the audition paddles to pretend they can't see the Muppets, so Zac Efron's just like, get out of here, get out, and they'll just think he's crazy. He's just yelling at random people. It's basically also a real-world prank to destroy Zac Efron's seemingly illustrious and wonderful career. He seems like a great bloke, but, he had it coming. He stepped foot into the Muppet High School Musical and therefore can never work again. That's just the rules of the Muppet High School Musical. I don't make the rules, I just enforce them, okay? I can't tell you why this is the way it has to be, but when you make the most meta thing in existence... Yeah, it has to be. The only other way I think you could make it more meta is do the same movie, but Kermit's Zeke and Walter is Troy, and Walter's dad is the guy Jason Segel plays it, and his mom is Amy Adams, but they're not his parents, so it doesn't quite work.
No. Oh my god.
But yeah, I think High School Musical is what can you say? What can you say about it?
Do you know?
Hasn't been said.
Do you know something? I will say one thing, and that's I think I agree with you from what you said at the start. I think you've peaked. I think this is it. I think you
I mean-
can't like you. This is your pinnacle. I don't think you can get any better than this.
Yeah, I thought of many different options for Muppets movies, and then I settled on this and realised that I had actually just achieved, what's the word? Like, I've ascended beyond the human plane, and I've come up with the single greatest idea of all humanity, and I hope to be remembered in the history books for coming up with a High School Musical movie featuring Muppets. I like Pirates of the Caribbean too. I think that's funny.
No, I'm glad I
think
went
it's funny.
first because no one's going to remember mine now. Because
But I
yours
will
is
just say the amount of crying I did whilst making this movie, because it doesn't make any sense, and I like that it doesn't make any sense.
But at the
and I
same
don't
time,
want it to
it
make any
makes
sense.
so much sense.
Does it make sense? Yours makes more sense because Jack Sparrow's just a drunk.
Yeah, but
You
yours
just-
makes sense because of the fact that it just works.
It's because everyone secretly loves High School Musical. And
It's no secret. I adored High School Musical growing up, and I haven't seen it
what a
since
loser.
really, but
You
I
like High
still
School
love it now.
Musical? Bloody loser.
But yeah, I'm not the one who watches the musical, the series, but sure.
I'm not the one who watches rubbish movies like Star Wars, you know? So that was a low
Right,
blow.
you've just offended half of our fan base. Well done.
Okay, well, I think we can all safely assume that everyone watching this is now going to go tweet, Instagram, Facebook, tell their dad who runs Disney that they need to call me up and call you up and get the Muppets High School Musical and the Muppets Pirates of the Caribbean into production stat. We don't want a fourth or whatever High School Pirates of the Caribbean movie is with Margot Robbie or whatever. We want the Muppets just remaking the first three, because why? And this goes for both of us. Why try and fix perfection when the only way to fix perfection is by adding Muppets to it?
There you go.
That's
It's a motto to live by.
Oh, also, here you go. Here's a funny idea. So if we want to get even more meta like you did with Cookie Monster, we could, when the Wildcats are playing against a team, that could be the Sesame Street characters. That's who they're playing.
Or the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, or Dark Crystal, something like that. So if you want your Jim Henson universe meta, that's fine. We can fix that. High School Musical, the Muppets series, whatever it's called, encapsulate all people of all opinions, faiths, creeds, Jim Henson fan scales. Whatever you want, we can provide it in a High School Musical movie with Muppets.
Yeah.
This is $1 billion idea.
I think it
would
is.
personally pay $1 billion just to view this one time.
Wait, you have $1 billion?
Yeah, I'm saving it for when they make High School Musical the Muppets series. I've been sat on it under my mattress just in case I hear a word, and then I'll be like, Disney, take my money. You can make it. I don't need it back. Just bring me joy. Beyond that, I think we've nailed it. What would you call yours? Have you got a specific
Muppets
name
of the Caribbean.
Muppets in the Caribbean. That's
Muppets of the
interesting.
Caribbean, should say.
Oh yeah, Muppets of the Caribbean. I think I would call mine. So there's two options. There's, so what I'd want to call it is High School Musical, the series, the movie, the Muppet Show. But what I'd actually more call it is the High School Muppets Musical.
That's good. Yeah.
But what I also want to call it is High School Muppets, because then it keeps the acronym HSM.
Yeah, but
the High School Muppets Musical. That's fine.
Yeah.
That'll do. So thank you very much for tuning in of what I'm sure will go down in history as the most illustrious, phenomenal, award-winning episode of The Two Dudes, where we discussed what franchise Disney should plow money into to make a Muppets movie out of. Because all good ideas are dead and everything is just now a recreation of the aforementioned ideas.
pretty much.
So, thank you for listening. Let us know what movie you want to see Muppet-fied. Let us know whose idea you like more, although it is obviously High School Musical, the Muppet series.
Even
and I
the
will
one
never be
that's even the one I
convinced
like the most.
because I want to see this movie, and I'm gonna, every time I have opportunity, talk about this from now on. So thank you for watching. Subscribe, like us. See you on Twitter and Instagram, and we shall see you all next time.
See you soon. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not.
I don't know. Maybe we can never come back now because we will never be able to reach the pinnacle that is High School Musical, High School Muppets Musical. There's just nothing better than that.
No.